bottom lane.
Thank you, guys. I'm here with the Rush Hour bottom lane, Aframu and Doublelift after winning over the Flash Wolves. Now, when you guys walked on the stage, I said, whew, that was close. And you guys immediately went, no, it wasn't. So care to elaborate? Because it looked close to me, Doublelift.
Yeah, go ahead, Peter.
I was joking.
Okay.
That was a really close game. I think we ended it, and the score was still 10-10.
Yeah.
So we were losing for most of the game.
So especially in that early game, which you guys are usually quite good at, so what do you think you guys could have done better to react to the Flash Wolves in the early game?
I think it was a little bit of miscommunication on where Rek'Sai was, and we had an unfortunate mishap there. So our game plan started to falter because of that. So it happens, but we've shown that we can come back with the deficit.
Yeah, you can, so that's also a good lesson to learn here in the first game. Tell me, though, what happens then in your mind, because you have a favorable draw, as everyone says, for your group. You have the faith. You are coming out of NA as the first seed, and then you end up in a game like this. Does your mind start to wonder, Doublelift?
Actually, I was really confident the whole game because we were just completely destroying them bot lane. I think at some point I was like 100 CS up, so I knew that even though we were behind as a team, we have a really good team comp. Like Lulu Jinx is just extremely strong mid-late game, and we pulled it through.
Do you feel maybe his cardboard cutout would have done better, or was it fine as it was?
Oh, no, no, no. I love the real thing.
Well, fantastic start here for you guys. As you've seen some of the games here and the meta and the way you've played in this game, we know that you guys are super confident. We've heard that in the interviews coming into this tournament. Can you elaborate a little bit where that comes from? And Doublelift, we know you're always confident, but it's a different thing to say we have what it takes to win the whole thing.
Yeah, you go first, Ben.
Oh, well, it's for you, man.
All right. Well, I don't know. I'm always confident because if you go in with like a loser's mentality, like, oh, we might not win, then I've had that happen to me before in my career, and it's really not good. Like for your team mentality and also just like how much effort you're putting in to the game, I want to make sure that we're all like 100% focused in the game. So I don't know. I just feel like this is the best roster I've ever played with, and it just goes to show Zion can have a bad game, and in the end, we can just pick it up.
Finally, Aframu, anything to add to that?
No.
No?
No.
In unison. That's how it's supposed to be. Well, congratulations. Thank you guys very much, Doublelift and Aframu. And as for us, we're going to break down the game a bit further over at the desk.
Thank you, Shaq. You know, I, for one, would like to get the Thorn head and the Doublelift cutout out here and let them discuss how the game went. All of that aside, let's just start from the beginning, as this was actually, of course, we have one of our longer games right after we talk about how quick the tournament has been going, but I think a lot of that can be lent to, you know, starting with Champion Select, let's look at the teams that they drafted and how they played out.
Well, of course, if you see Elise and Lulu in the same team, you start to question, like, the pick and ban. Like, sure, if you think that you're going to play Azir into it, it might be fine, but they pick the Echo into it. You pick an Assassin into Lulu, then you're just bound to lose. And I think that was what carried CLG in this game, because they played not so good.
Yeah, they really didn't play that well. And if we talk about, they got the Darius, too, in the last round of the draft on the blue side. So they ended up with this just insanely strong team composition for this patch. And Flash Wolves, they don't really have a form of primary engage on this team. They have to flash Gnar ult. They have to do something, because as long as CLG just groups at a turret, Lulu whimsies the Jinx, you can get the autos off on the turret, and the siege is virtually unstoppable if you have deep wards. And I think we'll get around to talking about that a little bit more in a minute.
We saw all these incredibly high priority picks fall onto the side of CLG, and yet Crumbs, for a period of time, it seemed relatively even.
I'm heartbroken, shattered even. I didn't know you could find games like these when you go dumpster diving. Like, I felt really bad watching this, because for a team that's claiming that they can be the best team in the world, this is far from it. You are not allowed to have games like these if you're actually wanting to get first place. Like, they only won solely because of the draft. Just because Flash Wolves did not have an engage and had a couple of misplays with picks here and there was the only reason that...
Specific negatives that jumped out at you.
From Flash Wolves, the composition not being able to draft properly, getting picked off in random locations for CLG, not utilizing the strength of the team composition. For example, the sieging, they put a lot of pressure into taking mid lane turret, but then eventually they just like, no, we're not going to do that anymore, even though it was
I'll let you
working.
take over there.
I'm about to shot this one. We can talk about the dragon control, too, from CLG. Now, we know that Flash Wolves is a much more dragon-focused team, but a lot of this was prompted by Xmithy's very awkward recall timings. He sits on a huge amount of gold, and it leaves so they can't fight because he has no items, and then he recalls, and they just took the first dragon. So there were a lot of opportunities that Flash Wolves made use of because Xmithy doesn't really know when he needs to go back and buy, and he sits on just this mountain of money that's doing nothing. Now, if we talk about CLG's early advantages, even though they were having a hard time in that top lane, they just need to group and siege. But to group and siege on the tier 2s, they have to start getting deep wards. CLG's vision control that game was very, very, very poor. But if you get the wards in, they can't teleport on you. Notice that Stake didn't buy home guards forever in that game, even though they didn't have a form of engage. So you couldn't even get the teleport in on that from a flank or anything. But CLG, they need to group up. They were way too focused on the Baron. This is not a composition that you go for the Baron for. They had split calls coming off the Baron. I mean, it was a disaster of a game, really. I think they are fortunate to have won.
Now, I want to look at takeaways specifically when we look at the rest of the group. As we said, this Group A here is one of the ones that, can really have some surprises in it. You look at these two teams, some were putting CLG ahead of KOO, but, I'm sensing from the desk here that this is not necessarily a team that we're looking can beat out KOO later in the group stages.
Like after this game, I'm sure KOO Tigers did a little dance. They were happy after this game. But it's like, if I think about the future of the group, these draft mistakes are simple to fix for Yowie Flash Wolves. But these like mid-game mistakes that you were talking about, it's so hard to fix within like a week. So I'm worried for CLG.
It is a draft mistake, but you can play around it. Like they have many of opportunities. For example, the delayed siege from CLG that eventually got countered by some wonky TP that was like in front of CLG, where they simply walked away without home guards even. So if they actually correct the mistake of using the teleport, but that's what we were talking about Stake, not being an underwhelming top laner. But I think that we can learn that he is receiving a lot more flack than he should.
Yeah, for sure.
He played a lot better than we were expecting. Dodged those 3 ganks very well and held his own in the top lane.
Final words?
Yeah, I have to agree with Yamato. If I'm KOO and I know my strengths as the KOO Tigers, which are, as the casters alluded to, playing a very clean, objective-based mid-game. They know how to run their compositions so well. Their problem is in the laning phase. But we see CLG start to bully the lane, start to accrue CS leads, and then just bumble around the map, which is exactly what we saw in their win against TSM too. So I think this is very concerning for CLG. They haven't fixed it, at least from what we saw today. And they had 3 weeks off. And KOO, this is their strength. Their strength is going to be playing the mid-game well. And I don't really see how CLG is going to outplay them in that phase.
Well, we get an opportunity to see their group mates play in our next game of the day. We do have to take a break real quick, but when we come back, Brazil's Pain Gaming will face off against Korea's KOO Tigers. Don't touch that browser.
If I got you, baby.
Damn, our harmony sucks, guys.
That's our team synergy right now, guys.
Keep the turret upright, though. But
oh my god, the crit! Silverleaf gets the first kill, but he does get taken out here.
No, look up.
I got him. I'm gonna chase.
I'm slowed, I'm slowed.
Myself.
Careful.
All right.
Hey, we're pushing, I'm pushing.
I got Echo.
Okay. Nice.
Oh, good play there. Gets the combo of a Maple. Comes his way back in. He wants double. He pops Azonia's stack. He's deep into the back lines there, but he can't get the ulti. Has to run out. He's so tanky with the help. But Kramer gets Cocoon. He'll get shut down, but Elise has gone down. CLG will win the game.